My name is Denzer. I'm the current artist in residence here at the Broad. I call myself an artist, a designer, and a publisher, and a lot of things I do right now revolve around books. Books are fascinating to me because they're kind of two things at once. They're, containers for information and content, and they're kind of dense containers, at that. And then they're also these kind of singular sculptural objects. When I was working at Penguin and having all these books around me, I started trying to find ways to kind of push the idea of the book as an object and not just this thing that there's a story inside. And as I was making these catalogs, I realized you could also make books from, found objects. So I have books that are made of, money bound dollar bills, or books that are made of Splenda sweeteners, or American cheese slices, or even slices of meat. I have a book called 20 Slices of Meat. That's 20 mortadella slices, and the whole book is made out of mortadella, including the cover. When I started my residency, I went to as many talks as possible, as many kind of group meetings as possible, and just sat in the back and took notes. And I was kind of fascinated by what I saw as the broad picture of what's happening here at the Broad, which to me seems to be kind of gathering as much information as possible, sorting it, collecting it, organizing it, and seeing what happens. That's kind of what books can do in an interesting way too, where you kind of gather a bunch of things, you put them in a sequence, so you let a sequence happen, and then you experience reading that book or looking at that book, and you gain insights from seeing the connections or the juxtapositions. And so I tried to make my process of making work here in a similar way, and seeing what kind of interesting things came to the surface. One of the books I made is kind of a book that compiles all of the raw data, showing 12,000 skin cells from people with schizophrenia, 12,000 from people without. And what they found was when they look at all of these images, they noticed differences in where kind of the mitochondria were in those cells that kind of showed differences between those with schizophrenia and those without. So being in a place that produces so much information, coming here and kind of hearing about how that information is dealt with and organized and sorted is something I wanted to do in my own work. A lot of research that happens by doing experiments on human cell lines. And so I became fascinated with this idea that there are bits of people that are kind of living on forever. And so I wanted to make a physical object that kind of showed the scale and the weight of that, and also let you kind of feel like you understood them as individuals. It's been super rewarding to make a book in a specific context, or to make a physical object in a specific context, being here at the Broad, and then having those people who are involved in the thing that I'm making the book about interact with it and look at it and flip through the pages and respond to it. It's been fascinating learning about all of the things that are happening here from the people who are doing it.